All right. So, is there going to be a foreclosure boom? I'm Andrew Gavin. I'm a licensed mortgage lender for California, and I sell real estate in San Diego. Is there going to be a foreclosure boom? Are prices dropping? Are interest rates going down? Let me tell you. Let me tell you what I've been watching and researching. So, first off, if you're here real quick, we're probably not going to see a foreclosure boom. We're probably not going to see home prices drop. And we probably will finally see rates start to come down, possibly seeing the first drop in the next 6 to 8 weeks. And then continuing on some sort of a downward trajectory throughout 2025. Now, the main reason that I'm putting this together is to let you guys know that home prices aren't going down, and with rates potentially about to drop, if you're thinking of buying, this could be the time to really get serious. I know people say this all the time, marry the property and date the rate, but that is an accurate strategy. Find a house you love, get the best rate you can at the time you can acquire that house, and continue to be ready and in a position to refi every opportunity you get. Personally, the house that we live in, we're well under 3%. And the reason that we are there is because of 4 refis over the course of the time that we first purchased this house. It's a long-term game to get down. Certainly during COVID and those times, there was a lot of people that bought at 2 and 3%. That's also why we're probably not going to see prices drop and inventory increase too much. There's just too many people with incredible mortgage rates on houses that they like or love. So there's no reason to move. The industry is talking about the market shifting, rates, foreclosures, and this shifting from a seller to a buyer's market. Currently, I feel like we're in this stalled market where a lot of the buyers that have been motivated over the last 6 months, that have still been getting beat up by price, rate, and competition, have just been like, whoa, hold on, I'm gonna take a break. We're gonna have new buyers come in because there's always a cycle. And buying and selling tends to be more of a lifestyle decision than anything else. No one really buys based on financing, which is funny that I'm always here talking about the financing part of it. But I realize that you're probably listening because you've realized that in your life, it might be time to buy or sell. And now you want some information about the market and the situations that are happening in the market. Makes a lot of sense. So the comparison or the shock value of, let's talk about foreclosures, let's talk about the market shifting to the buy side, let's talk about inventory. All these things are, they're buzzwords, they're clickbait, and they're important. But let's just break this down and kind of use some information and some charts here. Let's start with this. There's 3 main sources of inventory, which is what we need to create a market. We need homes to sell. And they come from current homeowners, new construction, and current homeowners that are distressed, short sale, foreclosure type of thing. Those 3 sources are where we get inventory from. Now, the number of home sellers that have decided to sell their homes recently has been increasing. Locally here in San Diego, our inventory is going up. It could be that more sellers are coming on the market while these other properties are stalling. But if you are looking in San Diego, inventory is a little bit better. You have more options. Home prices have not changed significantly at all. Over the last couple of months, we have had record high home sales, new record high medium home prices. San Diego, California is definitely a hot market, but we're seeing the same thing across the country. Inventory is rising, but it's not even close to what we saw in 2008, 9, 10 when we had the big crash. Inventory needs to be in surplus to cause a market to crash. We're not even close to that. New construction over the last 3 or 4 decades, they were building a lot in the early 2000s up until about 2010, and then it just dropped completely based on the crash. And they've been in catch-up mode ever since then. They're so far behind, and the projects are becoming harder to get approved, more expensive as they go, and they're starting to be slower and slower. Because even though the home prices are getting a lot more expensive at the sale, it's a lot more expensive for them to build and acquire the land. They have to have that money to get to the point of being able to sell this property. So purchasing the land and building the houses is a lot more expensive than it was, which is slowing things down. You probably remember during COVID that home prices went up, new construction kind of stalled because of the cost of wood. So everything affects this. Let's talk about foreclosures and short sales. You might have been seeing videos or updates on social media saying that foreclosures are double and triple what they were the last year. You can see from this chart that there was a point in time where there was next to nothing, especially during COVID, where they weren't foreclosing on anything. They're just, nope, you can't pay us. We understand. The government has said we're not allowed to foreclose on your property. Have a nice day. So there was a whole period of time where nothing happened. And you can see that in this chart. Now, as we start to go up, you know what? If there was 500 homes being foreclosed on in the nation, and that doubled, that's only 1,000 homes for the country. It's not that much. There's 3 million people in San Diego. 1,000 homes, it's not much at all. Those numbers are, as I say, clickbait and interesting. They're not affecting the market the way that people are assuming. There's not enough foreclosures over the last few years and right now to influence the market. To recap this whole thing, let's talk about the home prices going forward. Home prices aren't going to drop, especially here in San Diego, because we have no inventory. We have more than we did over the last couple of months, but it's not significant. And with this happening across the country, everywhere is seeing a little bit of an increase in inventory, a little bit of a reprieve, more opportunity to buy, but new construction is still so far behind that they're not creating new properties for homeowners to purchase and needing to sell their current home. So that's limiting everything. And because the inventory of foreclosures and short sales has been so small over the last 3 or 4 years, even seeing double digit 20, 30, 100% more foreclosures or short sales, it's not very many units, especially when you're hearing about national numbers. Short sales in particular are very minimal because with the increase in prices of homes that's happened over the last 3 or 4 years, there isn't very many people that are upside down on their mortgage. There might be some people, that can't pay their mortgage, but those people can essentially sell for a profit and be okay, or at least come out flat, pay off their mortgage, even if they don't walk away with any profit. At least they're not in debt anymore. So here's the other thing that's going to happen. Now, home prices are probably not dropping because for home prices to drop, we need to have a lot of opportunity, surplus inventory. And although rates are high, and high rates have taken a lot of buyers off of the market, slowing down the number of sales because people are becoming more picky. They want a house that works for them if they're going to pay a $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 mortgage. So, as I said early on, paying attention right now makes a lot of sense if you're planning to buy, because we're in a window that we are 99% sure that rates are going to start to fall in the next 6 to 8 weeks and throughout 2025. And as soon as a significant rate drop happens, if you believe that you're losing out on purchase offers based on having competition of 2, 3, 4 people, imagine that doubling or tripling to 8 or 9 to 13 or 14, like we saw during COVID, because there is a pent up amount of interest for San Diego families to purchase homes. But they need a little bit of inventory and they need a little bit of a break on rates. As soon as rates come down a little bit, you're going to have a whole bunch of new people qualifying to purchase, and they're going to get out excited and start placing bids. If you're ready right now, I honestly believe you're better off buying something that you like, that you can grow into, that you can update, and get it for whatever fair price you can get it, as long as you can make the mortgage payment and you feel you could live there for 5 or 6 years. And be prepared to refinance over the next 12 to 24 months. Paying $100, $200, $300 extra for, let's say, year, that's $3,600. Let's say it's $5,000 in mortgage payment. The difference between a 6.5 and a 6% rate is what I'm imagining here. It could be $200 or $300 additional a month for a $700,000 or $800,000 purchase. You would be better off paying that every month for the next 12 months and then doing a refi than looking at an $800,000 property today, which in San Diego, let's say it goes up about 5%, which is not unheard of. We've seen 15 to 18 during COVID. So a 5% increase year over year could happen. That makes that house that you're interested in now costing $840,000. If you had bought now, even though you didn't get the rate that you wished you could, you would pay maybe $3,600 for let's say $5,000 extra for this year, versus having to buy it for $40,000 more 1 year later. And that whole year you also paid rent because you probably have to live somewhere. So this is a very key time for a savvy buyer to be paying attention and really trying to calculate the math. You've decided that you want to buy, and things are looking like it's possible for you to make that move. Now the goal is find a house you like and find the best way that you can pay for it with the plan. And it's not even just once, it could be 2 or 3 times, but have a plan in place to keep your finances in order so you can refi every time rates drop enough that it makes sense for your personal situation. I'm a licensed mortgage lender for California. I sell real estate here in San Diego, and I have specific homebuyer programs that have been designed around the NAR settlement and the August 17th guideline changes. So if the additional worry of paying your own agent has been on your mind and is potentially stopping you from buying a home, reach out to me and at least have a conversation about my programs and how I might be able to help you with your mortgage loan and represent you on the purchase of your San Diego home. Look forward to speaking to you. Reach out if you have questions.